Hi, welcome to another segment of Hotel Tales What's Your Story chat series. Over the last few weeks, I have been receiving messages from some of our viewers requesting for topics relating to F&B, in particular on handling of food wastage. I believe this is a topic of interest to many people, as a lot of people want to know what hotels do with excess food and how they plan food inventories. Did a lot of food served at hotels is wasted? Studies have shown that food waste accounts for an astonishing 28% of total waste at an average hotel. With me this week in our chat series is Mr. Andrew Law, the General Manager of Eastin Hotel in Petaling Jaya. He has been a hospitality professional with more than 30 years of experience, of which more than 18 years was in Asia and mainly in Sarawak. Prior to this appointment, he was in various groups of hotels in Sarawak in F&B and general management capacities. Andrew is a Malaysian Association Hotel or MAH Selangor Chapter Board member since 2019. He was also the MAH Vice Chairman for Sarawak from 2012 to 2018. Let's chat with Andrew and find out what's his story on food wastage. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome again to Hotel Tales What's Your Story chat series. We are with Andrew Law today. Welcome, Andrew, to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and Andrew, the hospitality sector food waste is fast becoming a key concern. The impacts are more than just the hotel's bottom line. It affects the environment. Tell us your view about this, Andrew, and how does your hotel control and reduce food waste?
It's a tough one. I mean, food waste is, especially if it's with guests, can be difficult to handle. So it's got to be done in a polite, professional manner. So when you have guests order without buffets now, it makes it easier. But when you're doing unlimited dim sum, unlimited high tea, these things, the guests will order and then we will actually stagger the orders. So we actually stagger deliveries to the guests. So that way, if they're saying, oh, hang on, too much, they'll actually tell us to stop. So we're trying to spread it out and give them time to eat. That way they will actually make the decision to stop, rather than us have all of this food at the end of the meal wasted, which they can't take. So it's wasted, it's not good. And of course, we would charge based on weight if that does occur, which guests have accepted.
No, I think that's a good practice, to charge for food waste. Yeah? Because, Andrew, whenever we see buffet spread, very naturally our eyes will usually be bigger than our stomachs. Yeah, because while food variety is very pleasing to the eyes, the capacity of our intake is definitely limited. How much wastage are there in a typical lunch or dinner buffet spread? Yeah, and how do you reuse some of these food items for your other purposes?
Well, I mean, a good chef will always have primary and secondary cooking methods. A lot of items on a buffet you just can't reuse. You have to throw them away due to the food health regulations. If it sits for so long, you must remove it. So that poses a different problem in terms of health. So what you've got to do is stagger your portioning on the buffet with timing and booking. So you reduce and increase the size of what you're placing on the buffet across even 2 or 3 hours. You can change that maybe 5 times depending on what's going on. So that gives you an added advantage of food quality, but also reduces what you're actually leaving on a buffet. And of course, the key is, what do they all say? It's a Mongolian style. So a lot of the items you cook as the guest orders. Okay. So that a lot of raw items and portioned this way.
All right. Yeah, I think hotels measure food management efficiency by usually measuring the food cost as a percentage of the food revenue. that's very normally practiced in all hotels, yeah, knowing the food cost. But what other measurements would you recommend in measuring efficiency in food handling?
I mean, the food costs is obviously the key guideline for the restaurant. It's not what you call a takeaway. It must be this. So what we've done is look at the yielding factors of individual ingredients. So the idea is to increase the yield of your core ingredients even before you start using them, cooking them, cutting them. You've actually got to have increased quality, increased yield. I mean, you look at watermelon. The short version is that some watermelons are bigger, but bigger is not always better, because then the skin is thicker and you're actually creating more waste. Even though you can make a watermelon skin soup, which is very nice, but you can only make so much of it. So it's yielding your core ingredients first and then bringing it in front of the guest.
Yeah, that's right. That's good insight as well, Andrew. You know, Andrew, I was just reflecting as you were mentioning that, you know, we have all been taught since young, right, never to waste any food. Yeah. I remember in my younger days, I remember parents telling their children, especially their daughters, to finish every grain of rice in the bowl and never to leave a single grain, as each grain would later on grow to become a pimple on their face when they grow up. So we have always been taught this, and I'm sure we are teaching our children this as well, not to waste food. But why do you think people still have this habit of wasting food?
It's a lot of it is just naturally there. They want to taste everything. If it's a buffet, they want to eat everything. And I know there's practices in some countries where you always leave one spoonful of food on the table. On your plate, you always have one small piece left as a thank you back to the person who cooked the food. It's saying, I enjoyed it and thank you, I'd like to share it back to you. And cultures do this. Different culture has a different approach. But I mean, we want to eat all the food. And sometimes it is not realistic. And I think in the more modern, the younger generations are starting to understand this much, much more. It is harder. An older generation, I know, like my mother-in-law, she always wants to have food in front of me. I mean, all day. I mean, I keep getting different food all of the time. So this can make it quite tough, because the generational difference is one of the key factors now moving forward. The younger generation very much understand that you can eat at a pace across 2 hours, 2.5 hours, spend the time and enjoy without still wasting any food. But the older generation, they want to make sure that you are looked after and healthy and full. So they will just keep giving you food.
I mean, their intention is good. They just want you to make sure that you are fat and you'll never grow hungry. Yeah.
Correct.
Andrew, tell us, do you practice waste prevention program in your hotel, and share with us how this program works?
Waste prevention in the hotel, the idea is to keep it as simple as you can. Obviously, yes, separating organics with plastics, with papers, these are a give. You must do it. I mean, if you're not in this day and age doing this, then you are not being eco-friendly. We've got to look at everything from packaging as well as wastage. When you're buying packaging, I mean, I'm sure that you order Grab and Food Panda and that some of the places don't have eco-friendly packaging. We use eco-friendly packaging as a beginning, but then at the end, we use for manure. We have a herb garden, we have green areas, we recycle as much water as we can, as well as separating out the organics and non-organics. And nowadays, there's great technology that helps you. We are looking at it further, where the organics and non-organic, you place into a little machine. And what it does, it turns it over into pure water. And I've done a testing on this with the university recently, and it was quite stunning. So it is something that we're looking to be able to make it even better, because you can recycle everything. And when you recycle, which is what we do, the money comes back not to the hotel. Anything that you sell, the money comes back to the staff themselves. So it goes into a fund, and they use that for sports or parties or gatherings. I mean, not at the minute, but normally this is what we do.
No, I think that's a very good practice, and thank you, Andrew, again for sharing with us these very good insights. We have been speaking to Andrew Law, the GM of Eastin Hotel in Petaling Jaya. So thank you, Andrew, for coming on to the show. Remember to stay safe and do not waste food. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you.